This is 2 Minutes Together, a ministry of Central Lutheran Church, Eugene, Oregon. I'm Vicar Ben. This week, in our pilgrimage in the season of Lent, we have the story of the prodigal son, a very familiar story to most of you. And in that story, there's one detail that you might not be as familiar with. As you know the story, the younger son takes his share of the inheritance early, heads out and to a distant country and wastes all his wealth in wild living. And then it says, and then a famine came upon the land. And then the younger son takes this terrible position. It's not really a job, it's a position that slaves held in caring for animals, and eventually goes back to the house of his father. But notice that one little detail. A famine came in the land. He'd already squandered his property. That was from foolishness. And then a travail of life that was not his fault, that was something that happened outside of his control, finally brings him to his knees. I think this is something we can all resonate with these days. We haven't been experiencing a famine, but we have been experiencing a global pandemic. And yes, indeed, some of us made good choices and some of us made bad choices before that pandemic. Some of us set ourselves up for success or not success. But the disaster that came was not due to anybody's fault. It was something that just happened. And everyone was suffering. The suffering, the going to the final end of your road, which caused us all to stop and contemplate. Who are we in relationship to God and to one another? In the prodigal son, it was that famine that finally led him to say, I do have a relationship still with my Father. Let's explore that. Here in our pandemic, we might be able to say, we still do have a relationship with God and with one another. And that no matter what, God has never given up on us and is with open arms embracing us at all times. This has been 2 Minutes Together. I'm Vicar Ben.